This is Stephanie Jones. Today I'm going to be doing my persuasive speech on capital punishment. These are my note cards. All right, and this is my audience and my three beautiful ladies as my adults. Good afternoon, everyone. Imagine yourself on death row, wrongfully convicted for something that you didn't do. Unfortunately, in America today, Americans don't have to imagine that. There's people on death penalty right now that don't deserve it. So today I'm here to talk to you about the death penalty that's still legal in 27 states. And my position is to persuade you the death penalty is not worth it and capital punishment should be abolished. So there's four main issues with capital punishment that I'm going to talk about today. Number one, the financial burden. Capital punishment costs taxpayers millions of dollars each and every year. And a lot of people aren't aware that the death penalty actually costs more than non-death penalty cases. Number two, capital punishment does not prove deterrence. Deterrence to murder, deterrence to serious crimes, there's just no data supporting it. Number three, capital punishment is cruel, and in a lot of cases it's inhumane. Number four, there's an irreversible risk to innocent people when capital punishment is allowed. So first, let's talk about the financial burden. Here you can see in the graph, death penalty cases, according to a Washington study in 2015, cost $3.07 million, where non-death penalty cases only cost $2.01 million. Now that's a difference of over $1 million. So imagine what we could be doing with that taxpayer money instead of using the death penalty. Number two, there's a lack of proven deterrence. According to the National Research Council in 2012, there's no consistent evidence that capital punishment prevents crime. And in this graph, there's actually Americans that were surveyed, and they were asked, do they feel the death penalty is a deterrent for murder or that it lowers the murder rate? 88%, as you can see here, answered no. Only 5.3% answered yes, and 6% answered no opinion. Capital punishment is cruel and unusual. 3% of executions are botched, and 7% of those are lethal injections that fail. And this is according to the Seattle University of Criminal Justice Department. Number four, capital punishment poses a risk to innocent people. There are 180 people exonerated from death row since 1972, and that's according to National Geographic. So as you can see, I've spent a lot of time and research using credible sources, such as respected professors from Seattle, as well as Washington and Massachusetts. I've also used the AP News articles, National Geographic, and other credible journalism articles from news outlets, like National Research Council. First, let's talk about the money. Capital punishment is too expensive. As we discussed before, when you look at a death penalty case versus a non-death penalty case, it's costing taxpayers' dollars a lot more money. But we have to ask ourselves, is it worth it? A 2015 study led by Peter Collins found that there was over $1 million difference between death penalty cases and non-death penalty cases. So I asked, imagine what that number is in Texas. Texas has the #1 amount of executions out of all the states. So all that money that they spent, we probably tripled it. But we can get rid of that and put it back into the community if we get rid of capital punishment. Number two, capital punishment does not deter crime. There's no data to support it. There was a study by Daniel Nagin. He's a former chair of the National Research Council. Him and his associates stated, "There is no reliable evidence that capital punishment deters homicide." So if there's no evidence to support that capital punishment is preventing crime, and there are so many innocent lives at risk, we have to ask ourselves, is that something that we really want for our state? Next, I want to talk about the process itself. Capital punishment can be very cruel and inhumane. Lethal injection, which is supposed to be more humane than the electric chair or hanging, has actually had the highest botch procedure rate, 7% out of all executions. According to Professor Austin Surratt, there's 3% that have been botched between 1890 and 2010. In 2024, there was a serial killer. His name is Thomas Eugene Creech. This happened in Ohio. His execution had to be stopped because after injecting him 8 times, they couldn't find a vein. So his sentence had to get changed to life without parole because they found they were violating his 8th Amendment right to not have cruel and unusual punishment. Now, I know he's a serial killer. There's a lot of murderers and serious crime, but no one deserves to be tortured. Next, I'd like to talk about how capital punishment, it kills innocent people. Each and every day there's someone that's on death row, but we don't know if they committed that crime or not. These people are mothers, their fathers, sisters, and brothers. It could even be any one of you. There are people today that are sitting on death row, convicted wrongfully. Life in prison gives time for new evidence to surface and for innocence to be proven, but the death penalty does not. Some people say that capital punishment deters murder, but we know that there's no reliable data that supports that. And other people say that the Bible says a life for a life, which it does, but that's in the Old Testament, and as a Christian myself, I believe in the New Testament that we all should be forgiven. In conclusion, I'd like to leave you with this. The death penalty provides a risk, an unnecessary risk to innocent lives. It also wastes taxpayers' money. It violates basic human rights as well. So if you value life, I ask you to let it go. If you value justice, the system doesn't always get it right. Let's get rid of capital punishment. So ask yourself this question, what do you stand for? Let's stand for truth and fairness and end the death penalty. Thank you.